And where's my pencil? Where's my daily cog pencil? I don't know. I got an alternate pencil, Nick. I think you could start the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Marvel Multiverse Mayhem, the Marvel podcast of LRMOnline.com and Genreverse Podcast Network.
Yay.
We are brought to you by Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow.
Indeed.
I'm Nick, and with me, as always, is Kyle.
Hi,
How's it going,
everyone.
Kyle?
Good. You want a honest truth or a really good lie?
They both sound great.
Then I'm doing absolutely amazing.
Me too, if we're lying. Me too.
No, I got a confession to make, Nick, because I know we're supposed to talk about the Eternals, which I did get to watch some of it before. Some of the reasons why I'm doing so wonderful forced me to leave the movie a little early.
Oh, you left the theater.
Not too.
I thought you were pirating
early.
it or something when you said that you didn't finish it.
No, not too early, but I'm not upset that I had to not finish.
You're not rushing back to the theater to finish it anytime soon.
No, I got
Disney Plus appearance. You'll finish it.
Well, yeah, for sure. And Christine, I think, is still somewhat interested, despite my reaction. She wasn't able to go, but she might want to see it. But I might skip out on that first hour and 15 minutes. I got so full.
So you didn't even make it
spoilers,
halfway through the movie.
Almost
halfway.
Yeah, because I got through
spoilers, folks. Always spoilers on our show.
yeah. So there's the spoilers for Eternals, but yeah, I got right after they find Ajak killed, and then there's the flashback to the conquistadors in Tenochtitlan. I know I'm mispronouncing it. Goddamn ancient Mexico City. I think it's ancient Mexico. Yeah, because that's where the cactus and the snake and all that were. So I got there, and I got to that first revelation that their mission isn't all it was, psyched up to be. And
you did get that far.
That's when I had to kind of get out of it. My opinion on what I saw. I hate the bounce back. Like, I kept getting so annoyed.
Flashing back. Every 5 minutes you'd be in the modern or you'd
exactly.
I kind of dug that. Because, I mean, rather than, they kept saying it takes place in like 3 time periods. And I think I would hate the film if it actually was like 1/3 this, 1/3 this, and 1/3 that without jumping. I
would have preferred that with punctuations of modern time to help that third act being set in the modern time, but I definitely would have went, like I said, ancient man, prehistorical man, ancient historical man, and then age of sail or industrial leading into modern age. But the constant back, and each time you go back, you're coming a little bit more forward at the same time. It was a lot, and it was a lot of whining. My God, did these Eternals complain? Like, we all have a shitty life in 2020 and 2021, but this was being written and stuff in like 2019. I have to believe, like, ideas and stuff, and all of a sudden I feel like I was watching someone that just poured a bunch of I hate 2020 onto the page. Like, they were complaining about their mission taking too long, complaining about their mission not going long enough, complaining about how much to help man, how little to help man. Like,
should you be in love with a
oh my
human
God,
or not?
it was just and Sprite fucking complains about bedtime. I know it was a joke.
Yeah, that was a joke.
You know, it's still the fact that I was fed up with these characters by the time the first Final Fantasy creature showed up. Or sorry, Deviant. And thank you, Marvel, for showing me that Final Fantasy characters creatures, but bad guy creatures will not work in live action because the Deviant creatures look like garbage. Sorry, this is honestly one of the most disappointing experiences I've ever had, and it's unfair because I'm hoping that maybe the second half, and you can I know all the the Stinger and Arrows, and I know the general gist, but I was. Does the second half get any bit better, Nick?
Or
is it just more of the same?
You don't want any spoilers, right?
No, go ahead. I'm saying I know all of the big stuff.
Second half,
does it land better?
It's okay. It's a very sparse action movie. Obviously, it's moving more at a, like you can tell it doesn't work as a prestige picture that's going to get nominated, but you can tell it's what they were going for. Like there are beautiful shots throughout where it's like, that's a real, like even the sex scene. They're like the sex scene took 24 minutes to film. Like that was real daylight, real location, no blue screen in the background. I will say some of the highlights are when they put some of the more funny characters. Like, they're gathering the team up, and they Kumal is a movie star, and he has been for generations.
Yeah.
Because he's always been, first he played he's like, first I was, these are all me, but that was my great-great-grandfather, and that was my great-grandfather, and that was my father, and now this is me, and then I'll have a son.
Yeah.
And his best friend is the main comedic relief. He's his like best friend, like manager, but they've known each other for like 50 years. Just the other guy aged. And there's even a joke where he's like, because I've known him so long, he tried to stake me through the heart like a vampire, which is only the most recent reference to vampires. I think we've had 4 or 5 references now in the last few projects.
Yeah, trying to prepare us for the shocking revelation that vampires could exist in a world of Iron Man and Spider-Man. I'm okay with it, guys. I don't need.
That's how it works.
I got it. Vampires. I'm a horror.
It's not one of the big 3 yet, but it will be. I enjoyed stuff like that. I actually liked the finale a lot, and I know why most critics didn't like it. Obviously a lot of real fans didn't like it either. The idea of the Celestial emerging from the Earth is like they're trying to stop that, and it's like, it's really cool to see the Celestials. Get your little Star Wars crawl about how the universe was created.
That was so long, like.
It was Star Wars length, and it waited until it left all the screen, just like Star Wars.
It just took so long, dude. Like I said, just from the get-go, this movie is molasses.
Because, of course, I know you haven't seen it, but you know the plot points. Eternals think they're sent to Earth to protect the humans.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out even the Deviants are created by the Celestials, and they were supposed to take out the apex predators. Like, they took out a lot of the dinosaurs so that mankind could flourish. And then the only reason they're trying to get a big population of Earthlings or any plant they stop on is because it feeds the celestial seed in the middle of the Earth, which actually recent Marvel Comics has done. There was like a dead celestial in the middle of the Earth, and like recent-ish, like within the last 5 years, Avengers run.
Yeah.
And when it came out, they like froze it again or something, and they used it as like their main base was in the Celestial's body for a while, which is pretty cool in the comics. But so the end is trying to stop that, and really, I don't want to spoil it for people, but I'm like kind of like, here's your Justice League Part 2. I mean, Icarus turns against Superman of the team, turns against a super powerful female warrior, a speedster, a gadget guy, and like tries to take them all on himself.
It was such a promising idea that just got bogged down in its attempt to be grander than it actually needed to be.
I would have cut
be
characters.
Prestigious. Oh God!
There's no reason to have. Even though some of them die, you don't need 10 characters.
Not even that, but even in that beginning part, man, just the to get through the school to the nightclub and all, like, it's just the pacing is atrocious, and because it's not exciting, at least for me, and I don't need action. You know, I love talking movies. I'm a huge Tarantino and Kevin Smith fan, and that's Tarantino without it having to, you know, be the action parts, you know. But I couldn't care, man. I tried so hard. The text crawl hurt, and then it's like these characters, you're kind of just thrown in there to, oh, here's all of their bodies and stuff, in which we find out there's some, you know, synthetic stuff going on there. I couldn't remember the word, but it's so jumpy, and then, like I said, it becomes, and maybe it's part of the brain injury. No, I'm not gonna blame it on that. Where's my TBI representation? I need some stuttering assholes that can't remember their lines. God damn it. I hope it gets better. I do want to see the rest of the film. Does Disney Plus allow you to watch things in like 2 times speed? Because I might watch it like that.
Maybe. All I know is that when it hits, I love the news that came this week that they're putting the IMAX versions out of as many movies that were shot in IMAX on Disney Plus, starting on Disney Plus Day, which is tomorrow when this comes out, right? Isn't it Friday? Or is it Saturday?
Yeah, Friday.
I'm pretty excited.
This will be out on Thursday.
Now, so the first post-credit scene was spoiled for me the minute a reviewer got on. This is literally the day critics saw it. One critic got on and said, Thanos' brother is in the post-credit scene. And I'm like, at first I was like, I don't believe it. This is an asshole. And I'm like, wait.
And it's Harry fucking Styles, too. And he looks ridiculous. I'm sorry. The guy's face, he himself in that role looked odd. I don't know
Eros,
what it is.
Who's like something they won't take from the comic, because they actually did a whole comic where he got rid of the power, because it's pretty inappropriate these days, is he can manipulate anyone's mind to make them feel pleasure and stuff, which is how he gets laid by everyone.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, the character, like the way they have him done up, the skin tone, the stage makeup, he looked weird to me. I don't know what to put my finger on it. It just, I don't know, man.
Then you got Patton Oswalt playing Pip, or whoever the elf is that runs around with him, which I was cool with. And so it's interesting. Here's the comics and probably movie reason for why him and Thanos look so different. They are children of Eternals that were allowed to have children, in the comics at least. And the first one born was Thanos, and his mom almost killed the baby because she was hating, because Thanos looks the way he is because Titans look normal, but he has a deviant gene, as well as the Eternals gene. And his brother Eros, aka Star Fox, just has the Eternals gene. Which is why he looks nothing like his brother.
Well, no, I wasn't saying he looked.
No. I know what you were saying. Yeah. I was explaining it to the audience if they don't know the history. Yeah. Do you know about the post credit scene?
Yeah. Blade's voice.
Yes. We finally have Jon Snow, or Harrington. I thought he'd be the Black Knight throughout the movie, because he was announced as being cast as the Black Knight. Learning about his history.
Whitman or whatever.
And then the voice at the end is Mahershala Ali being like, "Are you sure you're ready for that?" Because about to grab his like family's like cursed sword, or something like that. So that again brings us, and vampires were mentioned in this movie. So again, that brings us I would be shocked if we didn't see Blade in Moon Knight or something, now that he's already had a voice role.
There's going to be a vampire character in Moon Knight, allegedly, if not officially, and I would expect Blade to show. We had radio silence for a while, and I actually was a little worried that maybe it had, production had gotten into issues. Maybe Mr. Ali had gotten into, contracts with other projects during the, pandemic, all that type of stuff. because it was just radio's silence.
Yeah, I never gave it a release date either when they announced it. There's only one didn't have, but all the release dates have changed now.
Right, but it actually got an announcement, and most of the other things that got announced got talked about, except that one. It was like, nope.
But
that and Captain Marvel 2 got like almost nothing until they announced it as
the Marvels.
Marvels. So
I think this is very much a Jonathan Majors case, like we were already kind of saying, where it's like they hired him so much in advance so that he can appear in other shit first.
Yeah, that's
like he was announced way before Ant-Man was even shooting. It's like, oh, because he's in Loki. Or Marshall Ali was probably announced about 4 years before there'll be a Blade movie. So it's like, oh, okay, they're gonna his voice in Eternals. He'll probably be in Moon Knight or something. And actually, that's kind of where they're considered kind of not a team but allies. Same with Black Knight, is because they're all like the night characters, as in coming out at night, not necessarily all being knights.
I remember the Marvel Knights runs, which used several of those characters, but also Daredevil. I was going to say they used Daredevil, and I think even Spider-Man appeared. I don't know if he got his own or if he was just in someone else's book, but yeah, they used the Marvel Knights line, which is what I kind of hoped they would do with Moon Knight. You know, I had kind of hoped to see Moon Knight be in a more mature setting, but I have hopes for the show. I really do. Oscar Isaac is a guy that got the shaft in Star Wars, unfortunately, like most of the characters did, except for Rey, who got the shaft in a different way. And sure, guys, call me inappropriate for that joke, but her character was poorly written despite getting the most quote unquote development. But that's not the topic of Marvel Multiverse Mayhem. That's the topic for the cantina.
God, you just caused something to slip out of my brain.
Sorry. What do you actually grade that movie, Nick? I'm curious. Like, gun to your head, God is watching, or Satan swallow your soul. Like, whatever scares you, give me an honest score.
I'll say C+. It's not my.
Okay.
I think people are on crack. People always say that and think that Incredible Hulk or Thor 2 are better than this movie, but this is bottom 5.
You know, you and I both agreed that Dark World was better, having seen the full Thor and Loki arc when we were leading into the Loki series.
But that's really the only highlight of that movie.
Yeah, the bad
they
part.
Added that.
Yeah, I was gonna say the bad parts of Thor Dark World still stand out as kind of being bad, but the good parts did shine a lot better, seeing it all and kind of understanding that there's going to be more to this relationship and whatnot.
Still, like Incredible Hulk, there's no Marvel movie worse than Incredible. MCU movie worse than Incredible Hulk. I don't even watch it when I do a Marvel watch through. I'm like, fuck that movie.
I don't mind.
Doesn't even feel like canon.
I don't mind it that. I liked Ed Norton, and it was a shame that they couldn't,
Ruffalo's
hash things out. He does a great job. He's of course better because that's what we've seen and gotten the most of. But I could have seen an intense Ed Norton banner in Infinity War and stuff. Yeah,
I could see it too. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. So you said Rey and those actors got shafted. Oscar Isaac got shafted in Star Wars. Now he's getting his own show.
John Boyega.
All of them did. But the point is, we mentioned someone who made it over to Marvel, where they're going to have a bigger role.
Oscar Isaac. Yeah.
Today, when we record this, there was a pretty long interview with Henry Cavill, and he wants to play Superman again and stuff. At the same time, he's like, I would love to move to Marvel and play Captain Britain.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sign him up. Give him a 5-movie deal like Snyder originally thought he was going to do.
That.
Like, give him a trilogy, then make him part of Excalibur, I think, is a team he's involved in, and maybe Avengers a little bit. And like, yeah, I'd be like, fuck you, Warner Brothers. We'll take your boy Cavill. And
we put
he's talented.
Superman in our movie, and now we'll take your Superman. And That's all right. They've got a couple of Superman projects in the works.
None of them are.
I don't think
Man
they're
of Steel
concerned
2.
about him. Yeah.
That's why I think he should just be like, Marvel should reach out immediately after that interview and be like, hey, you're Henry Cavill. You're really good. Be Captain Britain. Like, let's do this.
Yeah, we could.
Because he's not going to get Bond. Let's be honest. Always the people we think are the ones who deserve Bond the most never get picked. Like when Daniel Craig got picked, like Hugh Jackman was my first choice. Because he was like, it's like, he looks like Bond. And they always pick someone that's not the first choice that everyone's expecting. But yeah, Eternals, C+. I would watch it because it's going to be very connected to other shit. I mean, it's kind of like they have to watch it.
Is it really? No, you don't really have to watch it. If you can read the crawl and you understand what the Celestial Seed is, you don't need it. It did exactly what I said it was going to do. There's a big, broad paintbrush that makes it seem bigger than it really is, man.
But I imagine seeing a lot of these characters in even Avengers movies. The ones that survive. Okay. That's why. Like, it's like watching Captain Marvel before Endgame, where you're like, okay, I get it.
Yeah,
this is the intro.
Yeah, I thought you meant it as in like it mattered for the MC. It matters for those characters, sure, but it doesn't
Celestials are a big ad. Like, we're one step away from what's his face? Who eats Galactus? We're one step away from Galactus when you get Celestials involved.
I thought you were gonna bring up the Living Tribunal or whatever, or or the Beyonder. No, man.
No, Beyonder's a whole different story. I hope they do.
Right. It's a broad paintbrush. They are a big deal. But what did it really do to move the MCU forward? All it did was give more framework to the past, and then give us some stuff they could build off of in the future. But again, dude, we have spent. It's almost like Star Wars, right? Star Wars cannot get out of the Clone War and original trilogy era. They are just fucking sucking it dry.
Even like Mandalorian, man. Right after, right between the trilogies. Book of Boba Fett, come on.
And here we have not moved beyond really what feels like moving beyond Endgame, like just the first year after it. And even then, it's still not moving any actual people forward. We're just getting to where they're coping with something that happened before. And
I would disagree on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. By the end of that, you have two new heroes.
Yeah, I was going to say you have a few people that get to move forward themselves, but nothing moves the universe forward. Nothing changes. We're still coping with, and even Falcon and Winter Soldier is all about the repercussions. Yeah. And we like one or two shows for the repercussions of Endgame, WandaVision, and Falcon Winter Soldier, but then everything else we've gotten either is for an individual character or does not really move us forward. So I'm just frustrated.
This movie, for example, they mentioned that the Celestial would have hatched 5 years earlier if it wasn't for Thanos, but it's like the world looks normal, like in Spider-Man Far From Home. It's not like WandaVision or
exactly.
It doesn't actually explore the world being different. It's like, the world's back to normal by the time this movie starts.
Explore some people's things, it looks like, in Spider-Man, as far as, coping with his events from Far From Home. Like I said, everyone's still dealing with something from before, but I'm just ready to move forward, man.
Dude, we're close. It's gonna be the Multiverse saga, probably at the same time as a few other sagas.
Yeah.
I feel like they're not sticking to one thing, and I'm tired.
I've said that.
Of references. I've said that too, to Infinity Stones. It's like, move past the stone. Loki, it was a joke, but like even watching someone's video about Celestials, or like, like new rock stars, or someone talking about Eternals, it's like they have 6 eyes, like the 6 Infinity Stones. It's like, let's get past that. Even introducing Thanos' brother, it's like, can we get past Thanos into the Kang era? Yeah. Like, can we move on? It was great, but now we're in phase 4. That was the first. Yeah, we're like into volume 2 of like a graphic novel.
Yep. And you know what would be really good to help us move forward from the Eternals? A word from our sponsors over at Grow Generation. So guys, please take it away.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. For all of your cultivation needs, Grow Generation has the right products, service and staff to make your grow successful. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
And we're back. Thank you guys for sponsoring the episodes. All the episodes. All the episodes are sponsored by Grow Generation. If you guys haven't
where
realized,
the pros go to grow.
We really appreciate them for doing that. And if you buy anything, let them know who sent you over there. Nick, Spider-Man 3.
Which we both have very different reactions
here.
Too.
Yeah, because you and I made a joke about this before last week when we did Spider-Man 2, and that was, when we did Spider-Man 1 like a month ago. We were both joked, what if 3 turns out to be the best? What if it's actually awesome? And just, joking around, and it was quite the opposite.
And we both watched the editor's cut, correct?
No, I did not. I had to watch editors, or I had to watch some extra scenes online. I have a Blu-ray.
I don't know if they're all in there, but I noticed one scene that was added and one scene that was removed, and probably a few others that were longer.
You know what, Nick? Entertain people, because if you don't, I'm gonna have to use the please stand by. I forgot I wanted to do something. Just I'll be right back.
All right, everyone. Well, we all know that Kyle is going to fucking hate on Spider-Man 3. He didn't even like the first Spider-Man, and no one likes Spider-Man 3 except for this guy. Is it great? No. Is it in line with the other Spider-Man movies? No. But it's a result of Sam Raimi being forced to use Venom when he didn't want to. And really, this movie goes more Raimi than the other 3 Spider-Mans, with the scene people hate of him dancing around. And I feel like that was Raimi kind of saying fuck you to Sony, where it's like
I don't trust you.
Oh, he's back.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch this whole thing to make sure you didn't say something bad.
No. I was already talking about how I know you're gonna hate it. We talked about it. It's a situation where Sam Raimi was forced into using a character he didn't want to, because if you look at his roster of characters, they're all from the first 10 issues.
Mm-hmm.
Sandman's in issue 3, I think, of The Amazing Spider-Man, and that's who he wanted to use. And obviously he's been leading up to a second Goblin intentionally every movie. Mm-hmm. But I feel like if Venom wasn't forced on him, it would have been a Goblin and Sandman versus Spider-Man movie, not a finale with the two of them working together.
Wasn't no, Malkovich's Vulture was for 4. Never mind. That's right.
The 4 was also supposed to be a lizard, which is why they've been teasing Kirk Connors since the second movie.
Yeah. So look, here it is. Look, back from when it first came out. Look at that. I actually had it. I did the cantina. I created the cantina to review Star Wars movies, and there was this really funny thing where we talked about how we would never ever watch the prequel trilogy again, right? Like, who in their right mind would ever pop in a copy of The Phantom Menace in 2021?
People who grew up with it.
They're not in their right mind. They're young. Their brains are immature.
They're not young anymore. They're the younger millennials.
Their brains are immature, Nick. That means they're not in their right mind. Okay? Somebody
Don't point
with
those at me.
So look, I don't like to do destructive things too much, but I'm never watching this again. I mean, it was awful, guys. This is trash. This has got to be.
If you're not watching,
one of the
he's
worst.
Cutting his Spider-Man 3 DVD apart.
Is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and it's not necessarily all Sam's fault. Although he definitely should have.
As I was saying to the audience when you were gone, I almost feel like he was giving Sony a big FU when they're like, "Oh, I have to use the symbiote.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna make him emo and dance and shit. If you're gonna make me use a stupid character."
Not only that, but they said it right in that movie.
Yeah, they say right in that
symbiote.
Yeah,
and
I don't know why
it's kind of ridiculous. And I'm cutting up the case too, just to add insult to injury. It's just, guys, this was look. the Blu-ray intro, this looks awful in true like HD, like uncompressed, no digital artifact, no noise on my nice TV. It looked awful, like worse than it should ever.
The menu
look. Oh, no, all of it.
Oh, really?
Everything CG was just worse than Blu-ray copies of the other films.
And I watched it in HD too, but I bought back when they released them a few years ago. I bought even though I already owned all the movies, I bought the trilogy of one and the 2-pack of the other, because they came with digital copy and they came with Spider-Man editor's cut. I mean, Spider-Man 3 editor's cut in 2.1. But look, let me tell you, I have the most interesting story to go along with Spider-Man 3. It's super unique. The first time I saw it,
I know this.
was at the New York City premiere
I do know
in
this
Queens, where I won a sweepstakes I entered every day. Almost didn't pick up my cell phone because it was restricted. I picked it up. They're like, "You won the sweepstakes." So I was flown out to New York from Los Angeles with a friend. We were given giant per diem. And like we just walked around New York just buying shit, like, you know, street food, like Rats on a Stick or whatever, and like dollar Mountain Dews. And we stopped at the Nintendo store and I got some shirts, and like it was we just walked around New York for 2 days until the premiere. And I wore my Venom shirt every day. Because, you know, I have a statue of him over there. Venom is one of my favorite comic characters, and he still hasn't been done justice. So I would say Spider-Man 3 does him better than Venom.
It was gonna suck. Yeah, you didn't know it was gonna suck.
So I was they did the premiere in Queens. So rather than like the Man Chinese theater where everyone sits together, we were in like all 12 of the auditoriums. So like regular people were in ours, though I did see Dylan Baker, who plays Kurt Connors, on the black carpet because it was Venom. So, I mean, the black suit. And then when I saw it at the night it came out at midnight in Orange County, it's the worst audience I've ever seen a movie with. Maybe it was because the movie's so bad. They were like shouting things at the screen, and like when Mary Jane and Harry kissed, they're like, "You fucking whore," and like stuff like that. Right. And I'm like, Jesus.
Even Christine was mad at her. She's like, it's not about you. And yeah, you got that, but you're also kind of fucking whiny and bitchy. So shut up. Just break up.
They didn't want to. That was part of Harry's plan.
But yeah, it was rough, man. I'll go down my bullets just real fast. The Toby cringe, especially when he's like mouthing the words she sings. Awful. I know you like their cringy romance shit. Holland acts like is the most believable genius out of all of them. All of them. The way Maguire just all of a sudden starts spouting science stuff just doesn't fit right. Holland manages to be like, I am geek, and he'll be like, "Oh, you mean the multiverse?" Oh, wait, none of you guys are into that. Never mind.
Well, he does that in a different way. Like when in 2 we watch when he's in Kurt Connor's class, and he's like raising his hand finally, and he's like, "Peter."
I mean, I don't know, man. I
don't
just
let any of this shit get on you.
I don't believe any of his delivery on that, even from the past movies. Like, did so sleep when they discovered the lines of Euclidean descent or whatever the fuck?
Yeah, Doc Ock's talking about it.
I'm like, I believe Melina, like what Melina's saying fits. Toby's, it's just cringe. But Sandman's birth, awesome, but what a waste of an actor and character. And again, not necessarily Raimi's fault, and Reese. What's the actor's name?
Thomas Haden Church, which is one of the reasons we're doing this.
Thomas Haden Church.
It's Thomas Haden Church is confirmed to be back in No Way Home. Plus, we're doing all the Spider-Man movies. If you can't tell now, before we're gonna double up the shows like now and cover all the movies before the release of No Way Home.
And yeah, we're doubling up Amazing 1 and 2 next week.
We get to watch them both next week. That's gonna be way more painful than watching Spider-Man 3. I hate both those movies.
So I hated the Goblin tech. Like you made this mask and you only let him wear it like for 20 seconds and 2 shots. Wait. Off.
I want to build off your last comment real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Sandman, the scene where he's dragging, like is being born is great.
Yes. It's great.
The accident he falls into is the most stupid accident in the history of superhero movies. Maybe it's a bird and it'll just fly out.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
That there's no guards to protect the...
No, he just climbs over the fence.
Exactly. And it's this... And you don't
even
know
say
what the experiment is for.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, at least Doc Ock and Green Goblin led to their own creation. Right. Sandman is just running and falls into a weird science experiment in the middle of a field.
It's because they're trying so hard to make him sympathetic, but they wait way too long to give you the big reveal that his partner bumping into him caused the trigger to go off. And so you actually spend this entire movie really hating this guy to where... that did not tug my heartstrings then, and it didn't get them this time. I wanted it to. I wanted to see if I missed something, and I don't know.
Before you move on again,
go. Sure.
So that scene is great when he's forming himself. Absolutely. The music by Christopher Young is fantastic.
Yep.
The whole score is fantastic, and you can't even get it anywhere as far as I know. But one of the scenes, the main scene they added is a scene I don't think should have ever been cut, which is when his dad, she's supposed to meet him at like the park and he doesn't show up. And then suddenly there's a giant sandcastle there and she like puts her hands and you're the daughter against the sandcastle and it uses the same sweet music. Like that's the scene I would have kept.
Yeah. Like I said, I wanted the character to be better. I wanted to like it more this time because like I said, it was like, I know what you guys wanted to do, but you didn't do it well enough. It didn't hit.
Before we move on to your next note, while we're still talking about Sandman, worst retcon in the history of superhero movies.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's the guy who did it all along. Now that we're in the third movie, it's almost it's just as bad as Joker being like, "I killed your parents," or like, "You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?" It's like, why does everyone need to have that much of a connection to hate each other? There's superheroes and supervillains. So next point on your list, sir.
Let's see. TBI, Harry, as a person that suffers from TBI, I demand that we get proper stuttering fools with memory issues on screen immediately. This is the second time I've made that point, and I am completely facetious, but I know that I could definitely get I could get a hashtag going.
I love, while we're talking about him, I love how innocent he is when he's not remembering stuff. It's really goofy. Right. In fact, I think he's one of the highlights of the movie.
It would have been if we had gotten more of that goofiness in the past movies, but it's just enough.
It's even goofier in the first. You're right.
That's what I'm going to say. It's just enough goofy in that first movie, but then it's immediate. Just like darn woe is
Did my father love me, Peter, or whatever?
Exactly. So I didn't care for that stupid retcon for Spider-Man.
Terrible retcon.
Topher Grace. I like Eric
Grace.
Foreman. He's okay here, but dude, he's just Eric Foreman when Eric's trying to act cool. You know, when I don't know how much. I
haven't watched a lot of that 70s show. So I went in pretty clean, not knowing a lot of this stuff.
There's a lot of episodes. There's episodes where Eric gets drunk or he's high and he's trying to act suave and cool. That's all this was, dude. It was like watching Eric Foreman under the influence trying to be cool.
Do you want to talk about him a little bit more, Eddie Brock Jr. before you move on?
Right, I'm gonna keep it with him and Venom. Okay. Venom. I did put in Sony said symbiote right in Spider-Man 3. Fire.
Dylan Baker had to pronounce it, and he did it.
Yeah, I said fire Avi and Amy. Arad and Pascal, so it should be fired from cannons into the sun.
Why did they think it was different when they're doing a movie that's supposed to focus on that?
I don't know. You tell me.
It wasn't only that one actress saying it wrong in the trailer. Didn't everyone else say it right except for what's her face?
Well, no, she's the only one that says it in that first trailer, and then the very next one they changed it, and they're like, "Oh well, ADR and stuff, guys. We had." Well, multiple. Fuck you.
They put it on her mouth.
It then. Yeah. Where was the fucking proofreader then? Like, I don't buy it. Fuck you, Sony. So, the Venom. The worst part about Venom with Topher, with Brock, is that there's no Venom. It's just Brock with an attitude.
Yeah, it's Raimi's version of Venom.
Yeah, we can dive into Brock and Venom with that. That's what you wanted to do.
So it's Eddie Brock Jr., of course, as he was referenced in the first film.
Mm-hmm.
He wants that. Him and Peter both want that job as a staff. We're actually working for the Daily Bugle, not freelance. Competing on pics of Spider-Man. He thinks he's dating Gwen Stacy, even though they had like one date. He thinks he's so fucked up in the head. He thinks she's his girlfriend. They've had like one date, and he tells Captain Stacy when he's taking pictures, like, "That's Gwen." He's like, "Oh, we went out a few times." And he's furious at Peter for stealing her when Peter's just using her revenge against Mary Jane. And it's like, you were never dating her. You're delusional. And then the other thing that ruins his life is much truer to the comics, where he fabricated a picture. And in the comics, Eddie Brock fabricated a story that sent the wrong person to jail, which sent him to jail because, in the movie, they changed it. So it's a doppelganger villain. He's the same size as Spider-Man. He has like a similar history. But because, in the comics, more like the movie Venom, because he's sent to jail for faking a news story, he works out and gets giant, which is why I still think they should still cast Michael C. Hall as fucking Venom and just fuck off whatever they're doing right now with Tom Hardy, because he screams Venom to me. I mean, Eddie Brock.
I could buy that more,
because this is more, he's just like Peter Parker. Even when he has the Venom suit on, he's not like buffed up. He looks exactly the same except for the mouth. At least he doesn't have a white spider, but at least he has a spider on his chest.
Yeah.
Because his origin's done properly in that way, even though the meteorite is lazy. Yeah. Especially when you have Captain
Jameson.
Yeah, Captain Jameson. I always figured it would be like the animated series where he rescues the space shuttle from crashing on the bridge, and there's the symbiote attached to that.
That's what most people thought.
Or like in this new trilogy, if they weren't being so in the MCU, he should have got it on Titan or some shit. If they were going to do it for the proper way. Like you would think he would come back from space and he would have a new suit or something.
It's just proof that Sony never intended to leave Spider-Man over there with Marvel. Mm-mm. Now we know, thanks to some production announcements, that Sony and Marvel are in bed together for the foreseeable future. How good that'll be, I don't know.
I will say, just like the Sandman birth scene, the Venom birth scene is perfect. The bell tower ripping it off.
Yeah.
He's in the church because he's like, fine. And by the way, as a former Catholic, that's not how prayers work. You don't pray for someone else to die.
It does not. But
he only goes because Peter Parker has that line where he's like, find religion.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't think of many mainstream religions where deities accept prayers for others' deaths, but
it's not really how Christianity works.
Doesn't,
or
not after the death and resurrection of Christ, because that's when a whole bunch of rules change. But this is not theology class. This is more.
Well, and Eddie Brock's not a smart man. Obviously, he's insane.
He's not.
He's insane before.
But all they make him seem like is just an asshole
and an idiot. Man. Well, he's delusional in a way. A lot of later Spider-Man villains, like specifically Jamie Foxx, are delusional.
Yeah.
Like he's like Jamie. Yeah, we'll get to Amazing Spider-Man too, but in this he's like, oh, I lost my girlfriend, who isn't really his girlfriend. I lost this job. He did fake the photograph. Like, I hate Peter Parker.
Yeah, right. Let's see here.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
I said, great. Topher Grace's Venom voice means Avi and Amy should never work again. The Butler, dude. Like, you want to talk about like random lines just thrown in multiple movies, delivered with no emotion. Oh my god, dude. What a waste.
Do you know what scene was removed from the original cut that makes it better? They removed the scene where he talks to Harry about he should go help Spider-Man.
That's in the
original cut. They got rid of it in the editor's cut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's gone. So like instead of cutting to him, he shows up, talks to Harry, and leaves, and Harry shows up without the Butler scene, which makes so much more sense.
Yeah, but
it's not the Butler's decision; it's his decision to help his old friend.
Yeah. It's a real awful delivery, regardless, though. So cutting it out could be
the editor's cut is definitely superior with the scene they added and getting rid of. I forgot they got rid of some scenes, and that's a good scene ditch.
Yeah. Spider-Man 3 is already a fucking mess. Lines make no sense and make the story worse. And I already brought up my Marco is not sympathetic at all. The end reveal of accidental death doesn't make up for the other shit. So final thing. Okay, first act, terrible second and third, awful story, awful CGI, awful movie, awful D-.
I have a soft spot for this film. I don't think it's just because I love the original trilogy.
So what do you like about, what are the
Let's look at my notes.
Legitimate, yeah.
Not all of them are positive. I took bad notes
okay.
too.
Cool.
So let's see. One of the best Stan Lee cameo ever. Mm-hmm. I would say that lines of dialogue he gives to Peter Parker.
Best ever, maybe best Spider-Man.
I don't know. It's the one people played the most after he died because he's like anyone can be a hero, or it's one of those. It's like Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse quality like cameo where he's like,
"It's a good."
Would you look at that? One. Looks like anyone can make a difference. Enough said. Even there's enough said.
Yep. It's good. It's good. I like it.
It still has. This actually is my favorite version of James Franco as Harry Osborn. The so good line is still one of my favorite. It's such a Raimi-ism. It's like, how's your pie, hon? After he tells Peter he kissed Mary Jane, he's like, so good. Mm-hmm. Let's see what else. The Flint Marco, worst origin ever. The bird thing, and just the experiment. But yeah, I wrote that. I love the action thing. I actually like the action scenes between the special effects have definitely not necessarily taken a step downward, but they're trying harder things like putting people's faces, like the first like animating Tobey Maguire without the suit versus the or New Goblin, as the credits say, but he's been called the Proto Goblin.
Yeah.
It doesn't look so great, but I love all the action scenes between him and Peter. I love that action scene, and I love the one where he just beats the shit out of Harry in his own apartment, and neither of them are in costume.
That's good. Yeah, to talk about positives, to take off yours, but before I do on that thing about putting Maguire's head on the CGI body
doesn't work.
The scene where he's putting in the bars in the construction at the end. There's a scene where his head looks like it is several layers.
Oh, I didn't even look at that. I mostly noticed it in that first fight he has with Goblin.
Oh, dude, it's go.
You're
watch
right, though. I'm thinking about it. You're right.
There's a scene where he goes like this, right? And it literally looks like his face is maybe a whole extra head in front of his body. It is awful. Because I haven't watched the movies. This movie and
since 2007, probably.
No, whenever we did ranks it.
So
2018.
Yeah. A few years, dude.
So yeah.
A few years.
But even then, I wasn't paying that much attention to it. This time, I did pay more attention to all three so far because of No Way Home. And I was trying to scoop pieces of Spider-Man 3 out from underneath my chair.
Rolling over those disc parts.
I know, right? It's great for the carpeting. I'm sure my animals will love it. No, I will not let my animals eat that. I promise. I'll vacuum it. But yeah, it's the good things that you liked. The action, like you said. The fight scenes where it's really brutal is good. The fight scene and the sewer with Sandman is interesting. Again, you get.
I want to bring that up in a second.
Sympathetic. Oh, help me, but I don't.
No, he's not sympathetic in that scene. But I have an interesting point on that scene.
Go ahead.
I do want to. What was I gonna say about? Well, we'll move on to my interesting thought about that. Okay. It seems like, it's because of the black suit, obviously. Sandman's the only character he intentionally kills. He doesn't kill him, but he thinks he's killing Sandman. Like yes, he feels guilty for killing the first robber, but technically he tripped over something and fell. Green Goblin stabbed himself. Doc Ock killed himself by taking down the big, like the fusion reactor or whatever. And Sandman's the first one Spider-Man thinks he's killed, and he's like, "Good riddance." And that's a pretty brutal fight scene too, where he's holding his head against the train, and it's like, the sand is just ripping off his face.
Yep. You're like, wow, man, I was really hoping this would be more of that.
Yeah.
And instead we got the jazz club.
I'll get there. One thing that's interesting is what's his face who plays Flash Thompson's in the credits, but I couldn't find him anywhere in the movie.
He's in the college in the back. He does not look John Mangello.
Yeah.
Mangello.
However you pronounce it. Yeah.
I can't pronounce it correctly. I always just call him Mangello to my wife. But hey, he's a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. Let's go Pins. I'm down with Joe. Not Brandon Mangello. Ha! I made a political joke.
Okay. Oh, I got it. Now I know what you're talking about.
But he's the one that is throws something at Peter.
Oh, he's still a bully. Oh, when he's in class with Gwen, because Gwen Stacy's his lab partner.
That's go back. That's Joe Mangello.
And it's not animated that well, but I love the scene with the crane. Like, it looks terrible, but I love the scene with the crane where it's ripping it apart and he's jumping off like one platform that's falling to get to the next and catch her before they.
Yeah.
And then it's just obvious mistakes he's making. Like, he shouldn't have given her the upside down kiss.
Right.
It's their kiss. Mary Jane has the right to kind of drift away from him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I will say, best Bruce Campbell cameo, I think, of the three, being the maitre d', keeps trying to bring out the.
I like the thing
where he's like,
guy.
And he's like, no.
Maybe because he's just actually a nice guy in that one.
Well, he is, but he's also like screwing it up and then delivers the shit even after she walks out.
Yeah.
And he has to like pick the ring out with the fork.
Yeah. But I like the ticket guy.
That guy's good too.
Yeah, I like the door.
He just points to the sign and he's like, no one admitted.
Yeah. But no, he is good in it. I like the whole, it's a French restaurant, isn't it? Messing with him. It's fun. It's a fun scene.
And the most Raimi part of the film is the part people hate, but I love. I love the cheesy, like, okay, first he's confident when women are looking at him, he's like, cool. And later he's like too confident and the women are like, okay, I'm like, what the fuck? And they do that. He's even dancing in the doorway, like the joke in Spider-Verse where it's like, we don't talk about that anymore. Yeah. But like women are trying to get out and are looking at him like, what the fuck? And the jazz scene, I don't know. I still think it's Raimi saying a little bit of fuck you. Like, if I have to use the suit, I'm making him emo, not just because he's like, I look better with my hair down now.
Man, he needed more. Like, my hair doesn't. I got freaking video game anime character hair these days. But if he needed I don't even know how to, because it's got to come across.
Yeah, it goes across. I used to do that when I was drunk in high school.
I'm trying to mirror
because I want to look like Spider-Man.
I don't know.
You have too much hair to do it. You have to have just enough you can like pull it down over your head.
Character.
But
yeah, he didn't have enough. He didn't have enough hair to pull off the emo.
No, he did.
Man.
You have too much hair for emo. All you need is long hair that you brush over your eye.
But it didn't come. It just touched his eyebrow, dude. It didn't come over the eye.
He was Raimi emo.
It was not enough. You gotta go full, man.
It's just. In the end, I like it, and it's much better than Venom, but it's still a giant missed opportunity. Here's as soon as that movie came out. So this is an old theory I posted to Facebook yesterday. Here's been my plan for the Ultimate Spider-Man quadrilogy, which will not happen for at least 20 years now because of Venom and Spider-Man. Movie 1, we introduce Spider-Man in normal circumstances. Doesn't need to be an origin, but he's not wearing the black suit. He's just fighting a villain, hopefully one we haven't seen yet. Film 2, he gets the black suit. It leads him to beat the villain of that movie to death, and he rips off the suit in like the very end of the movie. And you get introduced to Eddie Brock in either 1 or 2. Number 3 is Venom's the villain because the suit got ripped off at the end of 2. And number 4 is Venom and Spider-Man versus Carnage. That's a perfect Spider-Man quadrilogy.
I don't care to ever see it rebooted again. I'll let
you know what's going to happen.
My grandson or granddaughter or whatever, grandchild deal with that. If Lucas has kids. Yeah, I mean, that was all of our dream, wasn't it? With some Vulture and Mysterio and Goblin and maybe some Rhino thrown in there for shits and giggles, and of course Doc Ock. But we didn't get that, and honestly, I think we're gonna see. I can't say, Nick. I actually know something, and I can't say it. I can't say it. But
okay.
Anyways, I can tell you guys that they will be doing a version of the black suit on Peter. Or maybe Peter. They'll be doing a version of the black suit on Spider-Man to give us why Eddie and Peter don't get along.
Okay, you'll tell me about this more after the show because I'm curious. I don't want to spoil everything for everyone.
Yeah.
So,
if anyone's seen Carnage, Let There Be Venom, that's part of it. And
it's the opposite of that. So I like that title. I like the title Carnage, Let There Be Venom.
You know what Sony can't wait to do? They can't wait to bring in Screwball and Anti-Venom. That's what they're just itching to do. I can see it now.
Anti-Venom.
No, actually,
Flash Thompson Venom. I like Agent Venom in the comics, which is more like what Eddie Brock is. He's more Flash Thompson than Eddie Brock. Mm-hmm. Eddie Brock's a criminal, like I said earlier, who put someone away with a fake news story and then went to jail himself because of it and hated Spider-Man because Spider-Man's the one who proved that Eddie Brock's story was fake. So in the comics, Eddie Brock's a criminal, more similar to this.
He's
not a guy who like speaks for the people on like a television show. He wouldn't even tell Venom not to eat people, the real Eddie Brock. He'd be like, let's do it. Let's eat some brains. Like,
yeah, I mean, that would have been a great 4 movies. Yeah.
I told you, that's I'm going to write that when I'm 70. So that's been long enough. And to write the quadrilogy.
Yeah. I honestly wish we could have just seen Spidey get the suit out in space during a Secret War thing. You know, like back in the day, I always wanted to see the comics kind of come to life, but then it grew away from that because I liked how the MCU adapted elements of Ultimate, elements of 616, and elements of original stuff. But then if you stray too far, it gets way worse than being too true. Like too true, and I'm bored. Yeah, it was nice to see certain panels on screen. Avengers has moments. Captain America has
Civil
moments.
War has the moment.
The moment that we've seen straight from the comic books, but at the end of the day, it was what was different than the comics that made them better, not better than the comic books, just made them better movies.
It's interesting with this, we've talked about Raimi a lot and how he wasn't afraid to put everyone into like cheesy costumes.
Yeah.
Like when everyone else was doing black leather. I feel like New Goblin was a step back for him.
Yes.
But I love that Flint Marko is always wearing the correct color shirt.
The shirt. Yep.
The shirt. It's the exact shirt from the comics.
And they even try to give his hair a little texture. Because, in the comics, he's got lines like Norman does.
Yeah. And then, as far as the symbiote, am I saying it right? I always forget how to say it now. Symbiote. That trailer screwed me forever. I used to see him. Symbiote. It looks way cooler than it does in Venom when it's on its own. Like when it's crawling across his chest with like in the shadow with a hand, or when it comes alive at the end, it gets giant when he pulls out. Because again, Eddie Brock doesn't mean to kill him. He means to kill the symbiote. He's not mean to, and it's the coolest way to defeat him, the symbiote, ever. you said the special effects are wonky, but I love the idea of throwing the poles down and like hitting it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for Harry getting stabbed just like his father.
Yeah. The issue, I agree with you that when he's off of him and kind of doing the Raimi horror element with the crawling camera and whatnot, that's cool looking, but it doesn't really fit Venom itself, the character itself, the symbiote itself. Neither does the Venom movies where he's like, oh, I'm a loser too. No, shut the fuck up,
Venom's
Sony,
a badass.
clowns. But I appreciate that. I will say I do like the overarching aesthetic of Venom in the new movies. Although I wish it wasn't a bunch of veins, and I wish it wasn't so wet looking.
I don't mind the wet looking of the veins, but give me the fucking white spider, man.
Yeah, I mean,
because a lot of there are some recent statues Marvel's released that look more like the Sony one as far as veins everywhere, but they still all have the white spider on their chest.
And I don't need it to look so wet. It can look wet when it's not on Eddie, but maybe the human body absorbs a little of that moisture as part of like the anchoring. I don't know. No, it didn't need to be that.
And I like the look of Venom in this movie, except for the no tongue.
No tongue.
Because his mouth is pretty good. Except for when he peels back his face and it's Topher with sharp teeth. But when he's actually fully covered, his mouth, I don't know, he looks pretty good as a Venom. Except for the
head is too human. Like, when
it's
the
just
jaw,
a big jaw,
right?
Which
when
is
the jaw
unrealistic, but it's
separates,
not Venom crazy.
It doesn't quite mesh, and I know they were limited by what they could do with CGI, so it should have been just fucking go mocap and do this shit, you know? Fuck. Anyway,
so I loved rewatching it. Kyle hated rewatching it so much that he cut the DVD and the DVD's case apart.
And the case, it's all gone.
It's all gone. He's gonna erase it from his memory after this.
It's
like
gone.
Movies where you're allowed to erase your memory.
I just dropped pieces on the microphone for our audio listeners.
So I'm gonna look at my list. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover.
Yeah.
Because I was far more interested to talk about this will say something about the Eternals. Far more interested to talk about Spider-Man 3 than I was to talk about the Eternals with Kyle.
Yep. Yeah. It's kind of shocking. I didn't get to listen to your whole other podcasts talk, but
you didn't miss much. I redid it.
Who liked it? Who actually liked the Eternals? Anybody?
Jammer.
You know? Jammer, of course, Jammer. Of course,
I liked.
Jammer.
I wouldn't. I liked it. I didn't love it. And I didn't hate it.
I was bored.
It's still MCU, and MCU has me. I will say this. I've realized this even before Eternals come out, and it still stands. I prefer all three of the live-action Disney Plus shows to all three of the live-action movies we've got this year. I'd watch WandaVision, Loki, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier before I'd rewatch Shang-Chi, Black Widow, or the Eternals.
Yeah. I would have to,
because Shang-Chi's great, but the third act is a mess. That final battle is stupid as fuck.
I'll say this: I would not watch all of Falcon and Winter Soldier again.
Well, it is much longer, but I would say it's a better product than any of the movies.
Yeah. Again, I not all of it. the majority of it.
Well, when you're doing 6 episodes or 9 episodes in the case of WandaVision, you're gonna have ups and downs. They're trying to fill more time. They're new to it.
And we had also seen where there was a lot of editing choices made, and they had some issues behind the scenes for Falcon and Winter Soldier. Regardless, the end results, I was overall satisfied with certain elements and certain characters, including Captain America and Winter Soldier, Bucky, both just outstanding and wonderful performances and portraying legitimate things that I like to see done well on screen. Military trauma and trauma in general from the Black African American point of view. But yeah, Shang-Chi though definitely the best out of the movies so far. By
it's
far
the best of the movies for sure. The third act gets long and stupid with the dragon and the arrows.
But Lucas really liked that part.
Yeah, he should. It's action packed and he's a kid.
Exactly.
For me, it was like too long a finale. Like Trevor was the key to, and the dad were cool as fuck characters until the end when it's just like, now we got 2 dragons and we got a weird creature and we got people whose souls are being stolen by little dragons. And it's like, what the fuck?
Little Fin Fang Fooms. Yeah.
Which hits this Friday. You'll be able to watch Shang-Chi for free if you have Disney Plus.
Yeah, and it's worth watching on
I'm gonna
Disney
rewatch
Plus. Absolutely.
I'm gonna rewatch it.
Rewatch it. I
way better than the Eternals.
Yeah. Better than
Black
Captain
Widow.
Marvel.
Yeah. Nah.
Yes, it was better
than Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. Better than Spider-Man 1.
Fuck you.
Should I wrap the show up, Nick?
Wrap it up.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to Marvel Multiverse Mayhem on the LRM's Genreverse Podcast Network. Please, if you're watching us on YouTube and you haven't subscribed before, please do that. Leave some comments, thumbs up and down. I take the hate clicks, the hate comments, so long as you give us beautiful ad revenue through watch time. Yeah, guys, we got our podcast network on every app you can imagine. So follow us on that. Add us to your favorites. LRMonline.com and Genreverse.com are the websites to go to for all of your entertainment news, needs, and opinions. Nick and I have social media information down below in the description and on the screen. And of course, check out great shows like the Cantina doing Star Wars. We do have special Disney Plus Day coverage planned, as well as a regular Cantina episode planned, because we got to talk about the big stuff from last week, or this week that has happened, including Rogue Squadron being delayed. And then No Mercy will be coming back in the new year for Cobra Kai Anime-versal reviews.
It's coming back.
Yeah, all sorts of great stuff. So guys, check all that out. And Nick, tell them about the other thing you do.
Check out Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast. We record and publish on Fridays. So we have the hottest news. So hot right now. And this week we are going to be talking about a movie I watched today on Netflix and is absolutely fantastic. Even if you're not a fan of Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, watch it. The Harder They Fall, starring Jonathan Majors, your Kang, Idris Elba, your Heimdall, and a bunch of other great actors and actresses like Keith Steinfeld and Regina King. So I would say check it out. It's really, it's like Tarantino meets Edgar Wright meets a Western. It's very stylistic, yet it's still the pace of a Western. Cool. So big record. Even to you, Kyle, you should check out The Harder They Fall on Netflix. Very good.
Indeed. I can't think of, do I have something to recommend for anyone to watch?
Spider-Man 3.
It'll be anime. Check out this awesome slice of life anime my wife and I have been watching called My Senpai is Annoying. It is legitimately a salary woman and a salary man, business people. They work for an ad agency, and it's life in an ad agency. And the main character, she is
Don Draper,
an anime character of my wife.
That's great. Check that out too,
crazy.
Folks.
So yeah. Anyways, that's it, Nick.
And with that,
say it.
Excelsior.
Enough said.
Cut the check.